Good afternoon, students. Hope you all are doing well. I am very happy to meet you through this virtual platform once again. Okay, we started Unit 1 Nutrition and Plants. Okay, so let's revise last class portion and then move on to today's portion. Okay, so what we studied in last class? First, we studied about food, right? What is food? The substance broken down by chemical processes in the body of an organism to give energy is called food. Okay, what is food? The substance broken down by chemical processes in the body of an organism to give energy is called food. Next, we studied about nutrition. Okay, what is nutrition? The process by which food is taken in by an organism and used by its body is called nutrition. Okay, what is nutrition? The process by which food is taken in by an organism and used by its body is called nutrition. Next, we studied about two main modes of nutrition. What are they? Autotrophic and heterotrophic. Okay, what is autotrophic? Auto means self, trophy means nutrition. So the plants preparing food by their own. Okay, next, hetero means just opposite to the autotrophic, right? So that is depend on others. Okay, the next we studied deeply about autotrophic nutrition. Okay, what is the definition of autotrophic nutrition? The mode of nutrition in which an organism makes its own food is called autotrophic nutrition. Repeat everyone. The mode of nutrition in which an organism makes its own food is called autotrophic nutrition. Right. So here we studied that the plants preparing their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Right. So next we studied about photosynthesis. Right. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis means who termed the name photosynthesis? Do you remember? Charles Reid Bonds in 1893. Okay, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis means plants absorbing the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and water from the soil in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to produce the sugar and oxygen, right? The sugar formed in the form of starch. Okay, that the process is photosynthesis. Do you remember? Then we studied the formula of photosynthesis. Okay, what is the formula of photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. It gives sugar and oxygen. Repeat it everyone. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. It produces the sugar and oxygen. Okay. Now, what is the definition of photosynthesis? The process of using the energy of light to convert water and carbon dioxide into sugar and oxygen is called photosynthesis. Repeat it everyone. The process of using the energy of light to convert water and carbon dioxide into sugar and oxygen is called photosynthesis. Okay. Next we studied about conditions necessary for photosynthesis. Okay. What are the conditions? The general conditions necessary for photosynthesis are presence of green pigment called chlorophyll, and the second one presence of light, and third one the availability of carbon dioxide, and the fourth one availability of water. Okay, then we studied deeply about the presence of green pigment called chlorophyll. Okay, the chlorophyll is present on the leaves, right, in the form of chloroplast, in the structure of chloroplast. You know that, right? Then second we studied light. Okay, the light energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll. The light is very important. Even for the human beings, we need the light, right? The light from where we are getting? From the sun. Okay. Then we studied about the third conditions. We studied that carbon dioxide. It is this carbon dioxide, the plants are absorbing the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through the openings called stomata. Okay, it is present underside of the leaves. Okay, that we studied. The third condition, carbon dioxide. Do you remember, everyone? And the fourth condition we studied about water. Okay, what is that? Water. Water, you know that the root system, the plant's roots absorb the water from the soil. Okay, and also you know that through the root system. Okay, above the root system we studied that is shoot system. Below that is root system. The root system has three parts, right? What are they? Primary root, secondary root, and root hair. Okay, the root hair absorb the surface area. Okay, then we studied that through the xylem tubes the roots absorb the water and pass through the plant, all the other parts of the plants. Okay, and through the phloem tubes the food absorbed by the process of photosynthesis, it will be passed through all the other parts of the plant. That means in the root also it will be send the food by the tubes, by the phloem tubes. Okay, these four conditions we studied about the condition necessary for photosynthesis. Okay, that is autotrophic nutrition. Next, let's move on to the today's portion, that is heterotrophic nutrition. Okay, what is that? Heterotrophic nutrition. Okay, see the heterotrophic nutrition, already we studied that. Hetero means it is depend on others, that we studied already. Heteron means it is depend on others. Okay, so you know that autotrophic nutrition, it will be prepare the food by their own. Heterotrophic nutrition means it will be depend on others. Okay, food for others. Okay, so and then see here, but some non-green plants are unable to produce their own food. Why? Because it do not have chlorophyll. Okay, so these plants are not able to do photosynthesis. Okay, so they depend on other plants for nutrition. Okay, and then some plants, they have chlorophyll. Okay, so they do photosynthesis. But plants not only depend on photosynthesis for their food, they also need some nutrients. So some organisms depend on other organism for certain nutrients. Okay, so thus the organism which is depending on other organism for food is called heterotrophic nutrition. Okay, now let's study the types of heterotrophic plants. Okay, so four types of heterotrophic plants are there. What are they? Parasitic plants, saprophytic plants, insectivorous plants, and symbiotic plants. Okay, first let's study about parasitic plants. Okay, parasitic means what? That is something that lives by depending on others. Likewise, parasitic plants means that plant is depending partially or completely on others for food. Understand that? The plant on which the parasitic plant lives is called host plant. Okay, so what is meant by host? One who receives other people as guest. Okay, imagine you are going to your uncle's house. Okay, here who is the host and who is the guest? Your uncle is host and you are the guest, is it? So likewise, this parasitic plant is like a guest to host plant. Okay, this parasitic plant has a special type of roots called Hastoria. What's the name of the root? Hastoria. Okay. These roots penetrate into host plant. Okay. These roots penetrate into the host plant. So, what is mean by penetrate? Pass through or get into the plant and absorb nutrients and water from the host plant. Understand that? Penetrate means pass through or get into the plant and absorb nutrients and water from the host plant. Okay? So, when the parasitic plant takes all the water and nutrients from the host plant, the host plant get damaged. Okay, so now the host plant is unable to live, right? So now let's see the example for parasitic plant, and some of the examples are Cuscuta, mistletoe and Rafflesia. Okay, you can see this book. Cuscuta means that is a dodder plant. Okay, so first let's study about Cuscuta or dodder plant. Okay, see the picture of this. This first picture is Cuscuta. Okay, this Cuscuta twins around the host plant like a bunch of yellow wire. Okay, and it has a short root and long thread like stem. Okay, you can look this picture. It does not have any leaves, and so there is no chlorophyll. Okay, because it does not have leaves. Okay, and it cannot make its own food. Okay, so which is totally dependent on host plant for food and water. Understand that? Totally depend on host plant for food and water. Why? It does not have leaves and stem, as well as it does not have the proper root. Understand that? So it is called total parasitic plant. So which plant is total parasitic plant? Cuscuta or dodder plant. Understand that? And the second one is mistletoe. The second picture is mistletoe. Okay, the mistletoe is also a parasitic plant. Okay, but it does not a totally parasitic plant. Why? Because this plant has green leaves and makes its own food. Okay, you can look the picture, second picture. This plant has a green leaves. Okay, so it makes the food. It prepare the food by the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so but this plant depends on other plant for minerals and water. Okay, so as this plant is partially dependent on other plant, it is called the partial parasitic plant. So which plant is a partial parasitic plant? Mistletoe is a partial parasitic plant. Can you see this plant anywhere? Mostly it is present on the mango tree, teak tree, oak tree and curry leaves. Okay. Have you seen this anywhere? Hereafter you note it. Okay. If there is mistletoe is on any host plant, the branch of the host plant will be wither. Wither means what? It get damaged or it will be dry. Understand that? So that is the second example. Okay, and the third one is Rafflesia. Okay, see, you can see this Rafflesia. It is also a parasitic plant. Okay, and it is a world's largest flower. The Rafflesia is a world's largest flower. Okay, it has 5 petals and it has diameter up to 106 centimeter. Okay, it has diameter up to 106 centimeter and it weighs up to 10 kg. See, one flower weight is 10 kg. Okay, this plant has no stem, no leaf and no root. Understand that? So this is also under the parasite. Why? Because it does not have the leaf. So this Rafflesia flower cannot prepare the food by the process of photosynthesis. Okay, it does not has the root, so it cannot absorb the water from the soil. Understand that? So this plant also parasitic plant. So now we studied 3 examples of parasitic plants. What are they? Cuscuta, mistletoe and rafflesia. Okay, and the second one is what is that? And the second one is saprophytic plants. Understand that? And the second one is saprophytic plant. So, my dears, what are saprophytic plants? Do you have any idea? Yes, saprophytic plant is one that it obtains nutrients. Okay, it obtains nutrients um, from dead and decaying plants and animal matters. Okay, yes, a prophytic plant is one that obtain its nutrients from dead and decaying plants and animal matters. Okay, so the definition is in the name itself, right? So the word sapro means rotting, and phyton or phytic means plant. Okay, so hence the saprophytic means plants that obtain nutrients from dead and decaying or rotting plants and animals. Understand that? So the saprophytic plants are usually whitish in color. You can see the first picture, but sometimes these plants can have brightly colored flowers. Understand that? See the second picture, that is brightly colored plants. Okay, so these plants often do not have leaves. Okay, have you ever seen any saprophytic plants near your home? Not many of you would have seen them, right? Because they often grow in deep forest in the shades. Okay, some examples of these saprophytic plants are Indian pipe and coral root. Okay, so the first picture is Indian pipe. Okay, the Indian pipe is found commonly in Asia and North America. Okay, the coral root is found in forest around the world. Okay, the another example is Monotrapa. What's the name of that? Monotrapa. It is not given in our book. Okay, and fungi are also saprophytes. Okay, fungi are also saprophytes. They are not plants. Okay, the fungi is not a plant. They grow in various kinds of organic material like damp piece of leather, overripe fruits, stale bread and pickles. Okay, these all you can see that, right? Mushrooms and toads are also types of fungi. Okay, can you see the mushroom? Okay, now how do these saprophytic plants obtain nutrition? These fungi can also be found on the roots of saprophytes. Okay, the fungi converts the dead and decaying matter into nutrients that can then be used as food by these plants. Okay, this fungi can be used as food by the plants. Okay, so how does this happen? The fungi living in the soil, okay, feed on decaying plant and animal matter, and in this process then some useful substances are released into the soil. Okay, so most of these substances are necessary for the growth of the plants. Understand that? The fungi living in the soil, it feed on decaying plant and animal matter, and in this process some useful substances are released into the soil. Okay, most of these substances are necessary for the growth of plants. Understand that? Most of these substances are necessary for the growth of plants. These substances are soluble in water. Understand that these substances are soluble in water, and roots of plants and absorb them along with water. Okay, these roots of plants absorb them along with water. Understand that? That is saprophytic plants. Understand that? So today we revise the last class portion, that is food, nutrition, then autotrophic nutrition. Then now next we start to study about that heterotrophic nutrition and the types of nutrition, and the two types we studied. Understand that? So in the next class, let's continue with the same, because we couldn't complete in the Zoom class, right? Read the page number till the page 17. I showed the books. This is our book page only. Okay, if you get the book, you can read that. Okay, so after that I'll send you the question answers through the WhatsApp group. Okay, ma? So don't confuse about that. I will send the 2 marks questions, 1 mark questions, everything. You can note down in the booklet. Understand that? So the second Saturday we can meet you in the school. Understand? Okay. Thank you.